Hello and welcome to Tech Trends. I'm Olayemi Odunuga, and here's what we have on the program this week. Out of Technology Lagos 6.0 focuses on AI and the Lagos digital economy. And then later on the program, I'll be speaking with Itowo Udofia, a product designer at My Edited, on how startups can identify and address real-world challenges. We'll give you more in just a moment. Do stay with us. This is Tech Trends, and I'm Olayemi Odunuga. Artificial intelligence will reach human levels by around 2029. Follow that out further to say 2045, we will have multiplied the intelligence, the human biological machine intelligence of our civilization by a billion-fold. It's no news that artificial intelligence has the potential to drive innovation and promote sustainable growth. It can also offer tremendous opportunities while also opening our eyes to challenges that must be proactively addressed. Hence why the 6th edition of the Art of Technology Lagos focuses on AI and the Lagos digital economy. Here's more. The Art of Technology Lagos returns for its 6th edition, focusing on artificial intelligence and the Lagos digital economy. Just like in previous years, the one-day conference brings together tech stakeholders, including startups, ecosystem builders, innovators, and policymakers to provide insights on AI's role in driving economic growth, job creation, and sustainable development. The Lagos State Commissioner for Innovation, Science and Technology, Olatubosun Alake, kicks off the conversation by emphasizing the importance of the global AI market and why Nigeria must actively participate in it.
The global value for the AI industry stands at around $200 billion, right? And we are expecting an annual compounding growth rate of around 35%. That means by 2030, the AI market will be larger than most economies around the world, at about $1.5 trillion. These are serious numbers. So what does that portend for us in Nigeria? How do we leverage the opportunity of AI in our market? Today, the AI market stands around $10 million by estimation. And this is from our research of different AI companies, their use cases, and different things that they are doing around solving problems across different sectors. But we estimate that by 2027, that would be around $40 million with the current growth trajectory that we are facing. And of course, by 2030, we are looking at $300 million in AI value in Nigeria. Now, these are estimations. It can very well surpass these numbers. It all depends on what you and I do to be able to bring these solutions to the fore.
A key highlight of the conference is a panel discussion aiming to enlighten the audience on the opportunities AI brings and why it is vital to be prepared.
AI is one technology that has been actually classified as a dual-use good, just like you have the missiles, and stuff like that. So so coming to cybersecurity, absolutely, AI is going to be used for good. It's going to be used for the bad as well. So it's going to be a situation of the good, the bad, and the ugly. You can't stop it. It's like a knife. You can use a knife to slice onions, to cut tomatoes. But then, if somebody is malicious as well, and he has lost his mind, he can use the same knife to kill. But I think our emphasis should be more on the good, because the good in cybersecurity actually cannot be overemphasized.
We have standards around data minimization, proportionality, and necessity. These are things that we need to take into consideration. Then the lawful basis, of course, you know that AI may not always depend on consent, because how are you going to get that? From Nigeria, you have over 200 million people. Are you going to be able to get consent from everyone, even outside of Nigeria? So There are standards, other things that you can look at apart from consent, legal obligation. There could be legitimate interest. But all of these are properly guided. The snag or the concern around emerging technologies, including but limited to AI, is the fact that they are not always amenable to data subjects' rights.
Closing the skills gap is crucial for Lagos to thrive in an AI-driven economy. AI skills are essential for the workforce of tomorrow. However, emerging markets like Lagos face barriers such as limited access to quality AI education and a lack of resources for underrepresented communities like Ekpe, Ikorodu, and the likes. By leveraging programs like Skills Build, Lagosians can bridge the AI skills gap and prepare for future opportunities in the evolving digital world.
The onus is on individuals to say, look, what will be relevant in the future? Data scientists are very important. AI engineers are very important. Python experts, even product managers are also going to be very important, because whatever solution you are building, you want to design a product around it, right? So yes, some jobs will be lost, but some jobs will be created, some jobs will be enhanced. So it's incumbent upon all of us to seek out the ways I can upskill myself to remain relevant in the future.
The Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Kadri Hamzat, stresses the importance of collaboration to ensure Africa is not left behind in the AI revolution.
As we navigate the future of artificial intelligence, collaboration is very key. Policymakers, educators, entrepreneurs, and innovators, all of us must have a role in shaping this journey. It is critical for us as Africans so that we are not left behind. So the data set must be inclusive of Africans. You know, the reality is all the studies ever done by psychologists, all the research is done on white educated men, not even white educated women. So 95% was done on Western educated white men. So if you say you go to a counselor and they counsel you using those data, I'm sorry, as an African, you are not included though. So the challenge for us is, how do we make sure that with AI, our data set as Black Africans are in that system? That is our goal.
The Art of Technology Lagos continues to solidify its position as a leading platform for driving conversations around innovation and digital transformation. With a strong focus on AI and collaboration, this year's edition highlights the state's commitment to being at the forefront of tech advancements, setting the scene for a more sustainable and inclusive digital economy.
Platform like Uber, right? And when Uber was coming to the
The race is on to be the first humanoid robot that will welcome into our homes, with companies including Tesla vying to be the first to get a viable android into our daily lives. One of those hoping to win that race is 1X, a company based in Norway and Silicon Valley, with their humanoid robot, Neo. Dressed in a kitschy, futuristic jumpsuit, Neo was demonstrated at the firm's headquarters in Moss, south of the Norwegian capital, Oslo.
This is the newest version of our humanoid Neo, who is going to be piloted in homes. We're starting to roll that out now. And this is going to be, in the long term, this will be doing your laundry, cleaning your house, tidying, and generally giving you back a lot of time in life. We're starting with the simple things. Now, nothing simple in robotics, but the laundry, tidying, general cleaning, and everyday kind of household tasks, right? And in addition, it's going to be a great companion. You can talk to it, have good conversations, it can teach you things, it can be entertainment.
The CEO, Bernd Bonich, further explains how artificial intelligence is integral to Neo.
Everything you see in Neo to some point is AI, right? From how it knows how to control its own body, from how it knows how to walk in a robust manner, to how to operate objects, how to do tasks, how to handle interacting with people, body language, language itself while speaking, and audio. All of this is modern AI applied to robotics. And what really is exciting about NEO and the pilots that we're starting to roll out now is to have these systems learn among people.
NEO has also been designed to be piloted, teleoperated by a human from a different location. Bonnie says this will allow users to log into their robot's avatar no matter where in the world they are. It says this could also enable new kinds of human-robot interaction.
And also, we're really excited about the ability to teleoperate the robot yourself. So if you're somewhere else, you can actually teleport into your robot and do small things in your house that maybe you forgot to do, right? Like feed the cat or close the window, check that everything's okay, and also be able to have your friends visit in a different embodied version of remote presence, which I think is going to be really exciting to explore in the coming years.
The merging of AI and engineering is significantly advancing the field of humanoid robotics. Engineers design robots to mimic human form and movement, while AI provides the brain power, enabling these machines to learn from their environment, make decisions, and perform complex tasks.
I actually had one of the previous version humanoids that we make, the Eve robot, at home for quite a while to test out how it is to live with a robot as part of the family and to help doing all of these daily chores around the house and everything from conversations to actual laundry and tidying and everything in between, right? And at that point, I would have said that, like, this is really useful. I don't want to give it back, but I wouldn't pay for it yet. Like, but this is a while ago, right? So there's still some way to go. And we learned an enormous amount from this. And all of these lessons learned went into designing NEO, both the hardware and the AI stack. And we're about to try this again now, and I'm super excited to see the results.
The prototype version of NEO demonstrated was piloted by humans remotely, and the company says this is how 1X trains their AI models, learning from the robots working in real-world environments. The market-ready version will use AI and remote control and will be unveiled in 2025. However, NEO will likely have a lot of competition. Elon Musk said in October 2024 that there will be at least 10 billion humanoid robots priced between $20,000 and $25,000 by 2040. And speaking at the launch of the Tesla robotaxi, Musk said he believes his Optimus or Tesla-bot humanoid robot will be the biggest product ever of any kind. Multiple startups are foraying into the robotic AI space, including Vicarious, which was acquired by Alphabet-owned Intrinsic in 2022, Universal Robots, Sigrid, and Covariant. Startups are constantly emerging with innovative ideas, but the question remains, are they solving real problems or just chasing trends? In my conversation with Itowo Dofia, a product designer at MyEdited, we look at how startups can identify and address real-world challenges and the importance of cultural context in product design. Itowo, startups are often described as solving problems, but let's start with a foundational question. How would you define a real-world problem, and why would you say it's important for startups to focus on addressing these rather than just, creating trendy products?
Yeah, well, okay, so let's get the definition of real world problem. What is a real world problem? A real world problem is essentially a tangible issue that significantly impacts individuals, communities, industries, and they're called problems because they lack adequate solution, right? A real world problem is essentially a problem that the everyday man faces, right? And it is often a subset of what we call a wicked problem. So a wicked problem is a complex social and cultural issue that is very difficult to solve. So, for example, climate change, right? That is a wicked problem. It's vast, right? And so, from that wicked problem, you can break it down into smaller bits to real world problems, and then startups you try to solve these problems, right? It is very important for them to solve real world problems because one, that's the only way your startup is sustainable, right? If you follow the trend, trends come and go, so your startup will ultimately come and go with the trend. Also, impact, that is the only way. When you're solving a real problem, that is the only way your startup will have a real impact on the lives of individuals and communities and the world at large. And then market validation. If your problem is, if you're not solving a real world problem, the chances that people would use your product is very slim.
So one agreeable reason startups fail is because they build something that people don't want, instead of building something that's like 10 times better than the alternative they're trying to switch them from. So in the course of trying to solve real-world problems, what steps can founders take to identify gaps in the market or real issues people face daily so they can actually provide adequate solutions to them?
But I think the most important way or the fastest way for any founder to identify gaps in the market or identify real world issues is based on personal experience. A few days ago, I bought prepaid light, so I paid for it on my app, and they sent me the code, and then I tried to load up the code, and it didn't work. It just showed error, and I was frustrated. I was like, just like how I would buy a recharge card on um, my phone, on my app, on my banking app, right? And I'm immediately credited. Why is this electricity not just credited into my prepaid account? Why do I have to get a code and try to, there's that blocker, and that's something that is a problem that I'm facing. So that is a personal experience for me. So I can decide to take that up and say, I need to build something that would mitigate that issue, right? Again, personal experience, right? Now, it's one thing for you to have a problem, right, and solve your problem, but you need to make sure that that problem, not just you, but many other people are going through that problem, and that's where you come in. That's where research comes in. You have to always research, right? Speak to people and say, oh, do you also have this problem, or do you have something similar to this problem? And with that, you can now bring all your research and insights together to formulate your idea and the basis for what you're doing.
Let's talk about building scalable solutions, because that's also important, right? Most investors want scalable ideas, and I'm sure you can attest to that. There's often a gap between the grand vision of a startup and the investor's focus on returns. So how do founders bridge that gap?
That same relationship needs to exist between investors and founders. So you don't just go and collect anybody's money. It's like, okay, is this investor good for my business, right? Is this investor just focused on return, or is he focused on what we are trying to solve? Does this investor believe in the vision? And vice versa, as an investor, you're looking at this founder. Is this a founder that is ready to commit long term, right? So I met these two founders in the UK earlier this year, and they said they met some investors who gave them money, basically gave them a blank check, say, whenever you need money, we're going to give you money, right? But then the investors would say, I need you to build XYZ. They would do that, and the investors would come again and say, oh no, change this, change that. And they realized that they were not really founders, they were just figureheads in the company. It was the investors that were doing most of the decisions and building. And so they left. They went on to start their own company. And today, the company is, I think, 12, 13 years old, and they've never raised funds. They've never had investors. They are fully self-funded just because of that experience. And so that shows you that there has to be that symbiotic relationship between investors and founders. There has to be that alignment, else then there's no point.
Using that experience you've just highlighted, is it possible for startup founders to align providing solutions to problems with building scalable solutions that the investors want?
Yes, it is. It is very possible. It is very possible. So it is not the investors that so I'm trying to be careful how I say this, right? So the vision of a company is really the founders, is really for the founders. The investors, yes, believe in the dream and provide money, but investors naturally, I would not want. I think the ideal situation is not for an investor to dictate how the company goes, like the vision of the company, right? They are more advisors, right? So yes, it is possible. I mean, we have many companies in today who have great relationship with their investors. We have great investors who believe in founders, and they're doing really, really good.
So I see you've tried your best to break things down for our audience, but let's focus on you now. You've been described as a product designer making global impact in the tech industry, especially when it comes to product design, right? And I can say that that has probably given you a unique perspective on diverse markets like Nigeria. So tell me, how important is cultural context in designing solutions that resonate with the public?
Right. I have worked with several. I've worked with several organizations across the world, and at every point in time, there has been a shift in how I design. Right. So very early on in my career, I worked for a company in India, and I realized that the Indians, they like their design very compact, right? So they would naturally fit a lot of things into one screen, right? And it's very different from how the Americans do it. It's very different from how um, the people in the British, how they design, right? And it's not to say it's a bad thing. It is just their culture. So if you were to work for an Indian company, you would have, or design for an Indian company, you know that, okay, if this is the demographic of people, right? And so I would want to make my design compact. When I worked for a company in Germany, I would initially design in English and then translate my design to German. But the German text is longer than the English text. So it made my design a bit distorted, right? And so I had to learn to design right off the bat in German so that I can take into cognizance that the long string of the German language. And in the UK, where I currently work for a company in the UK, they're very accessibility focused. And so, they almost prioritize, I will say they more often than not prioritize accessibility over UI. And then in Nigeria here, what I find is in Nigeria, we're really all about the UI, having beautiful UI overall. And, and then we just chip in a bit of UX here. Now, it is not to say any of this, how this design is done in any of these places is wrong. It is just the culture of that place. And so as a designer who wants to stay competitive in the global markets, right, you essentially have to be able to put yourself into this cultural context and deliver your best work.
Staying with you, Towo, but looking at things from a human-centered AI design perspective, AI is the buzzword now, and for someone that works with a platform that's AI powered, I'm sure you can relate to that. And also the fact that AI can sometimes feel like a black box to users. So tell me, how do you approach designing products that make AI interactions, more transparent, accessible, and aligned with the needs of your diverse users? How do you take all of those elements into consideration so, people are not left out?
Well, it's not very different, right, from designing regularly the way I would design normally, right? And I would say AI is just a tool, right? I don't believe AI will steal anyone's job. I think AI is meant to enhance people's work, right? So say help them iterate faster, right? And so uh, let me take this back to the fundamentals, right? When designing any product, right, you have to stick to the fundamentals, and AI is only meant to help you uh, achieve this faster. Present AI processes in a decision in a very simple way, right? Ensure that your interface caters to users' needs, and then make sure that users are in control.
Well, Ito, one thing I'm taking from what you said is that, AI might not take people's jobs. And I, agree with that, because one thing a couple of, tech experts agree on is that we shouldn't be scared of AI taking over our jobs. But the fact that someone who knows how to use AI tools better than us just might be the one to take over our jobs. And I think that just means that we all need to skill up. It was such an enlightening interview with you, Ito Udofia, product designer at My Edited. Thank you so much for joining us on Tech Trends.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, that's all for this week on Tech Trends. I hope you enjoyed the episode and picked up something new along the way. Remember, Tech Trends is here to keep you updated on insights, trends, and developments happening in the tech space. Also, don't forget, you can catch all our episodes on the Channels TV YouTube account. Make sure to watch, share, and like your favorite editions. Until next time, I'm Olayemi Ujunuga.